guys, what is up? It is Snitchery. How you doing? I'm actually really excited for today's video because I feel like I haven't checked in with you guys on like a personal level in a long time. Why am I out of breath? Oh my god. That's not nerves, that's sheer lack of fitness. Oh my god. This video is also sponsored by Top Hatter. Thank you, Top Hatter, for sponsoring this video. We'll hear about them a little bit later. These used to be some of my favorite videos to film on my channel, just like sitting down and catching you guys up on a life update. Talk about stuff that may be too like contentious or salacious or scandalous for your average video, I guess. You get it. We're gonna sit down and we're gonna talk some real shit, okay? If you've never seen my face before and you're ever interested in seeing my face again, feel free to subscribe down below. We would love to have you here. We talk about everything on this channel. I'm gonna stop even giving it categories, but we'd love to have you join up. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for joining me on this little video journey. It means the world. When I was editing my last video, I was thinking about how corny that is, and it is corny, but I think it's the good side of cringe culture where I really just am appreciative of the fact that you guys come back for my sporadic, random, ridiculous uploads like this one. I'm sure you've read the title, and that's gonna be sort of the main focus of this video, but I also have a few other things I wanna update you guys on. So as the title says, I am probably getting a boob job. I left out the probably because well, you get it. But this isn't a probably in the sense of, oh, I'm thinking about it, it's something I'm considering. I've actually gone to the plastic surgeon, I have done my consultation, I've talked through it, we've done the whole appointment, I got my quote, so all there is scheduling the surgery. By saying probably, it's an actually a probably, not like a clickbait probably. So I've never had any type of cosmetic surgery. If you've been on my channel for a while, you probably remember about a year ago, probably, maybe a little more, when I wanted to get a rhinoplasty. It would have been longer than a year ago now. And basically I, at that time, did not like some things about my nose. I didn't like how it fit on my overall face. I just wasn't really digging it, and I hadn't dug it for a couple of years at that point, but it never got to that point of like being that serious about it. It was just something in the back of my head where I was like, oh, that would be a thing I would like to do. And lo and behold, it turns out I actually like my nose a lot. I just did not like how I was doing my makeup. I didn't like how I was contouring it. I didn't know how to work with my nose shape. So thank goodness I didn't end up going through with that. I saved myself about, what, 10 grand? How much your nose jobs cost? Ended up just contouring my nose in a different way, and now it's one of my favorite features on my face. So when I say that I think about these things for a long, long, long time before ever making any kind of decision, that is the truth. A lot of you guys are probably confused when I said I've never gotten any kind of cosmetic surgery, because I have gotten face filler before. I've gotten cheek, jaw, and chin filler. And the reason I like Juvederm filler is because number one, it's temporary, and number two, it's immediate. It's also much cheaper. If you've never heard me talk about this before, basically face filler is just an injectable. If you've never heard of it, they're dermal fillers. You go into a med spa or a doctor's office, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's an injectable. They inject Juvederm to create volume in certain areas of your face. Basically, I like filler because it's much more low-key. Now, there are also obviously risks with filler, right? There are medical risks. Things can go wrong. You can have a poor reaction to the filler. You can have an inexperienced injector. Is that the word? Injector. And you can also sort of start to warp your own perception of your face. I was actually talking about the woman who did my chin filler, or talking to her about this, and she said that a lot of the time she sees women come in and they'll get something done. Like, say they get cheek filler, right? It'll be their first procedure, they'll come in, they'll get it done, and they really like how it looks, because with filler you can see it immediately. And in the first couple days they're loving it because it's swollen, it's a big difference, it's a marked difference. And then as the swelling goes down, the filler settles and your cheeks are less volumized than they were when they were swollen, but significantly more volumized than they were before filler. But a lot of times people don't see that. They're used to their swollen cheeks at that point. It does not take very long for us to become acclimated to our face when we make those sorts of sort of subtle changes. It would be similar to getting like a haircut, not even dyeing your hair, just like getting a slight haircut. You get used to it very quickly and you kind of forget what your hair looked like before. And it's the same case with faces, where when you do these procedures, if you go subtle like I do, you can get to a point where you kind of forget what your face looked like before you got the procedures done, and you feel like you need the procedures again. Like you feel like your cheeks have deflated, your jaw's not as sharp as it was, and when in fact it's a noticeable difference from your old face. It just doesn't look the same as that swollen up face that you're used to. So a lot of people get disappointed with filler, and that's why they keep getting more and more and more, and you get that sort of stretched out face or those really stretched out lips. That's can be one of the reasons why that sort of thing happens. So filler is by no means foolproof. It's still definitely like a medical procedure. It's definitely something you should really, really highly consider and do a lot of diligent research before, you know, you even approach beginning to get it done. It's also pretty expensive. My chin filler cost almost $1,000. And while it is temporary, from what I understand, if you get a lot of filler in the same place, it actually can sort of build up. I'm not a medical professional. That's just what I've heard from people who do inject filler. So that's also, you know, a consequence, a risk. If you get a lot of filler, when you stop getting filler, you can also stretch out your skin, so your skin will actually sag more than before you got filler. So all that to say, they're called like lunchtime procedures, right? It's definitely not something where you should just say, I like how Snitchery's face looks and she recommends filler, so let me make an appointment for tomorrow. No, do your own research and take it as seriously as it is. But that said, filler obviously is not nearly as serious as something like a boob job, right? Or even a rhinoplasty. For as much as I thought about filler and for as much as I thought about a rhinoplasty, I've been thinking about getting my boobs done for much, much longer. Long story very, very short, I gain and lose weight really, really easily. I am 5'7" to 5'8". I'm like 5'7" and a half. And my body can comfortably sit, depending on the time of year, anywhere from 120 pounds to 145 pounds. So basically there's like 25 to 30 pounds where my body just sits comfortably and I don't feel underweight, I don't feel overweight. It can happen not even as a result of me changing my eating habits. It'll happen completely unconsciously throughout the year. At different points, I'll just gain a lot of weight or lose a lot of weight. When I was in college, I sort of realized this was happening because when I was in high school, it wasn't even on my mind. I wasn't trying to lose or gain weight. It wasn't even something that I was thinking about. I just noticed it in college because honestly, it was because I was buying my own clothes and paying for my own clothes and I'd get pissed off and they were too big or too small. And I was like, okay, this is a problem. And even though I'm not doing it on purpose, it probably is unhealthy for my weight to be fluctuating that often because it was like yearly. I was losing and gaining the same weight. I started to pay attention to what I was eating because there was a point in college, freshman year, where literally no exaggeration, every single day I would eat 2 full bags of hot fries, 2 white monsters during class, and 4 to 5 Red Bulls a day. I was very unhealthy my freshman year of college. I needed to like sort myself out, get myself right. When I actually like started eating better, instead of eating hot fries, I actually gained a little bit of weight. So I gained around 10 pounds and settled around 130. And that is basically where I've been for the past like 3 or 4 years. That said, because of all those weight fluctuations, my boobs went through the ringer. And we're gonna hear about that after a message from our sponsor. Take it away, sponsorship Eleanor, who will probably be in the dark because the lighting is changing so fast. It's me, sponsorship Snitch. Hey! So as I already mentioned, today's video is sponsored by Top Hatter. If you've never heard of Top Hatter before, it's basically the world's most exciting shopping site where deals only last 90 seconds. You heard me right, 90 seconds before they're gone. You can find anything on there from beauty and makeup to jewelry to fashion to toys. It's Christmas time. Get your presents cheap. Why did I take on that accent? It's toys. It's Christmas time. But in all seriousness, you can get really, really cheap items. It's free to sign up and you only pay if you win the auction. It makes shopping super fun and super thrilling. I know when I first logged into the site to check out whether it was something I would want to promote on my channel, that immediately my blood started pumping, but like in the best way. Like you do get a shot of adrenaline when those deals are moving so quickly. You're seeing that bar go down and it's like, oh, do I need it? Do I need it? They also have deal drops throughout the day where you can get name brand items from name brand companies and the auction starts at $1. You heard me correctly, $1, okay? You can get so much quality stuff on Top Hatter for so cheap. It's almost one of those too good to be true scenarios, and yet it's true, and yet it's real, and I love it. Users can also earn badges by achieving a certain number of wins or buying a certain number of products in one specific category like electronics, bidding a certain number of days in a row, etc. There's a lot of categories where you can win those badges, and you guys can see the bid is going up and up and up like as I'm watching it. It's so exciting, and if it's something you want, you have to put in your money like immediately. Oh my god, it gets me pumped, dude. But if you're interested in checking it out, the link will be down below. It is not an affiliate link, but it does always support this channel to let brands and companies know that you guys are into the products that I'm promoting to you. So if you're interested in checking it out for yourself, trying to get some cheap ass Christmas gifts or a little something for yourself, then yes, my URL is tophatter.com/offer/snitchery. It'll be down below for your clicking convenience. Oh my god, I am so dumb. I also forgot to mention that if you sign up with my link right now, you do get a $5 credit. Now, if you saw some of the items on this site, that's big money, girl. So like I said, if you're interested, check out the link down below. Yeah, okay. And back to the video. And we're back. Okay, so basically all that weight loss and weight gain caused my boobs to not really know what size they were supposed to be. I mean, they would go from like a double D cup to like a B cup pretty frequently. They were constantly growing and shrinking and growing and shrinking and growing and shrinking yearly for like 5 years in a row. So from mid 2018 to the beginning of this year, I was a little bit heavier. I don't know how it happened. Honestly, like I said, it just kind of happens naturally sometimes, and I wasn't trying to lose it. I was literally just chilling. I was like, okay, my face is a little bit fuller. That's fine. Like, I'm still cute. I don't know. I wasn't really that worried about it. But I also have terrible acid reflux, and it's gotten so much worse in the past year. It's always been kind of bothersome to me. It was only really like I would eat spicy foods, then if I immediately laid down, I would feel sick. Okay, that's kind of easy to avoid. Spicy food is my favorite kind of food, so I would just sit up for a while after I ate dinner. It wasn't that bad. But lately, it's been as soon as I eat, even if I don't lie down, it's sort of like I can feel it creeping up, like sort of my chest, even as I'm eating. So I've just been eating smaller portion sizes, and I've also been traveling quite a bit. Basically over the summer and into fall, probably over the course of like 4 months, maybe 4 or 5 months, I ended up losing that extra like 15-ish pounds I had put on and settled back around in the low 20s. Okay, so that's where I am now. I would actually like to gain a little bit of that weight back. Like I said, I feel the most comfortable sitting right at the middle at 130. I'm chilling. I don't know, my body will do whatever it wants. So for those of you who are concerned about my weight loss, in the Savage X Fenty video, if you want to see it, I tried on some underwear. The reason I put that in the title wasn't like, I lost 15 pounds. It was like, I lost 15 pounds and I'm feeling a little insecure about how non-thick I am, but we're still gonna try on some underwear, girl. And that was the purpose of the title. I should have known that it would be taken a different way, but there it is. So what does that mean for my boobs, right? Basically, they're just annoying me. They are an awkward size for me right now. This is maybe like TMI, too intimate. I don't know. You guys know how open I am with sharing stuff with you guys. I should go and get a professional bra fitting, but from what I can tell with my own body, I'm sitting more around a small C cup. And I would honestly rather that my boobs were either really small, like a B cup, or bigger, like a D cup. I don't really mind one way or the other. I just don't like the current state they're in. I think they're an awkward size. They're not really big enough to give me good cleavage, but they're not small enough to like go braless in every type of shirt. I only exclusively wear sports bras unless I'm wearing something that warrants like a proper bra, in which case I wear Savage X Fenty. But for the most part, I go braless or I wear sports bras. And I would love for them to be a little smaller so I could ditch the sports bras altogether. And I would also love for them to be a little bit bigger so that I could have cute cleavage, right? Like everybody wants anime titties, right? Okay.
I also forgot to mention that one of the big reasons I want to get my boobs done surgically rather than just gaining and losing weight is because I want them to be a consistent size regardless of the weight I am. They're kind of the only thing that really bugs me about gaining and losing weight naturally. So yeah, I wanted to put that in case anybody was like, why don't you just gain or lose weight? Because, you know, your breast size changes with your weight. I want it to be consistent, so it's not something I have to worry about.
So originally I was going to look into a breast augmentation because they're certainly not big enough for a typical breast reduction, right? I was looking into different types of breast augmentations, of course, looking into different implant types, teardrop and round. You have silicone, you have saline, you have the gummy bear implants. And the more I looked into implants, the more they scared me. I don't know if you've seen Carissa's video, I will link it down below, talking about breast implant illness. You probably have. I think it's probably at 1 million views by now. So a lot of people have seen it and it's a great video, and a lot of people got informed of the risks that can come with putting these pretty blatantly toxic bags in our bodies, right? So the thought just freaked me out more and more. And the more research I did, the more I realized that this affects a lot of women. Nobody really knows because nobody's looking into this the way they should be. But seemingly it's still a small percentage of women in comparison to the number of women who get breast implants every year. So it's just another risk that, you know, you should be aware of, and you have to add to the pros and cons list. The pro being, I think a lot of breast implants look really nice. They look really good. Sometimes I'll see before and after of what my boobs look like now, and then someone who gets breast implants and it looks amazing. It looks like everything I've ever wanted. But then you have to consider the fact that it could make you very sick. They can rupture. There's capsular contracture. Implants are not a lifetime warranty. You typically get them replaced every 10 years. So that's going into another surgery when I'm barely 30. There's just a lot of things to consider for something that ultimately is, for me, just aesthetic. I don't have a crippling insecurity about my chest or anything. I actually don't dislike my boobs at all. It's kind of the same approach I took with my face. When I started getting filler, it wasn't because I disliked my face. It was because there were certain features that I liked a lot, like my cheekbones and my chin, that I wanted to improve upon and make stand out. It's kind of the way I feel about my boobs. They're chill, but they're not one of my favorite parts of my body. They're just kind of there, and I would love for them to be something that I could like really love on myself. That is the reason I started looking into this. I think any form of, you know, cosmetically changing yourself should come from a place of wanting to love something about yourself rather than changing something that you hate. Do I want to make that statement? That's a very overarching statement. I don't think there's anything wrong with using cosmetic surgery to change something you dislike about yourself either. I guess for me personally, there's really nothing on my body that I'm so insecure about that I would go into surgery for the sake of fixing an insecurity. There's just a lot on my body where I'm like, I'm not mad at you, but you could be everything. And because that's been my approach and mindset when going into these things, implants just turned out to be too big of a risk. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna say I'll never ever get them because I love big boobs. Like, who doesn't? I think they're so cool. I think they look so good on so many people, and I think they'd look really good on me. I'm quite tall. It would fit my frame. It would make sense. I have wide hips, so it would make my body proportionate. But at this point, the risk just isn't worth the reward. The reward being that I would be aesthetically more pleased with a part of my body that I'm not mad at to begin with. So maybe in the future, if there's better technology, these implants are looked into and improved upon in a really serious way, then I would consider looking back at implants. But for now, that's not the route I decided to go. So I started looking into fat transfer. A lot of what I read was that a lot of these women had paid a fair amount of money for, it's not expensive as an augmentation, but it's still a procedure for a fat transfer, and the fat had just sort of melted away within like a week. The body had reabsorbed the fat. I didn't think that was really worth it. And you can't get very much of a difference with a fat transfer. It's definitely nothing like an implant. So I would just be going from a small C to a big C, and that leaves me sort of with the same problem. So when I went into the consultation with all of this in mind, I was talking to the plastic surgeon. I don't think I'm gonna say the name of who he is or where I went because I haven't had any surgery with him. I don't know if I ever will. Let me not put him on blast for interacting with me for like, you know, half an hour. But I explained that I was sort of stuck between two looks that I liked and that what was on my body was not my preference. And he actually said that he thought I could achieve what I wanted with a lift. I had never heard this before, but apparently I have a very long chest region. Like, this is all just my chest, and then my boob starts underneath this hand. So like my cleavage does not start until the bottom of the sweater. I just have a really long torso and a really long chest. It's part of the reason why I photograph so short, is that my torso is so long and my legs are short in comparison. He basically said if he lifted my boobs to be really, really, really perky, and it would also make them a little bit smaller, more along the lines of a B cup, it would make them look more proportionate to my body because they would sit higher, almost inhumanly high on my chest. But because my chest is so long, it would actually look natural on my body. I was all for this idea, and I kind of still am because it doesn't involve an implant. It would give me the boobs I want. However, he also said that he would have to do an anchor scar, which is around the nip or around the areola, down, and then underneath the boob as well. So it's basically the most intense form of scarring, and when you do an implant, you basically have minimal scarring to no scarring. And I wasn't really going into the consultation with the idea that I would come out of it with a solution that involved a lot of scarring. Actually, my mom came with me, and I told my mom beforehand that if he suggested I get that really intense form of scarring, that I probably wouldn't go through with anything. But now that I'm thinking about it more, there are of course significantly more people that see me with clothes than see me without clothes. The ratio is millions to me. So I'm kind of weighing the idea of having that smaller chest that I can wear under t-shirts. I have a pretty masculine style, you guys know. I mostly wear sweats and t-shirts, and it would be much easier to wear that sort of thing with a smaller chest. The scars are a lot, dude. A lot of people who get that sort of surgery, a breast lift or, you know, a breast reduction, they kind of leave the same sort of scars, say that they don't even notice them, they don't mind them, and I'm sure that's true for so many people, but I don't know. They can do like a digital markup of a before and after where they scan your chest and they show you what it would look like after, scars included. I almost feel like they look a little stranger on me, and this isn't saying anything else about anyone else with tattoos or who has had a breast lift or has both. I almost feel like the scars look a little stranger because I do have so many tattoos. It didn't resonate with me in the way that I would have wanted it to, so now I'm at this point of consideration. I got a quote for that lift. It would end up being around $10,000, a little bit under, and that was about a week ago. So I've just been sitting on all this information, and it's sort of difficult to know that you definitely want to do something, but that none of the options, you know, none of them are connecting with you. And the way that something you should feel so confident going into such a major surgery, and neither of the results are, neither are speaking to me. I'm considering both of them still. Like I said, I'm not completely putting off implants off the table completely, nor am I putting off the idea of a lift to right my weird chest wrong. And at some point in the future, I will be getting my boobs done. I know that for a fact, that at some point I will. Originally, I was gonna plan on having the surgery in March, which is why I was doing consultations now, and I still might end up going through with it. I've given myself a week where I just have not thought about it, have not researched, have not, you know, dug into, you know, horror stories, botch stories, stuff like that. Okay, so my camera just died and I think that's a sign to stop babbling, okay? If any of you have any experience with this, I would love to hear your story down in the comments. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you have any helpful tips about a big ass surgery that I'm gonna be considering after this week of rest, mental rest is over. If you made it to the end of this video, hit me with a flower emoji in the comments, any flower you want. Here is an imaginary rose for you. Thank you again to Top Hatter for sponsoring this video, and thank you guys for watching it. Thank you also for being my friend today and always, and I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah. Bye guys!